Now let's begin with breaking updates coming in. Is another flashpoint brewing in Bangladesh. Tensions are simmering in Dhaka, this time between the interim government and the military. Reports suggest that Nobel laureate and caretaker leader Mohammad Yunus is considering resigning after the Bangladesh army chief publicly pushed for elections by December. Sources say that a frustrated Yunus has sent out a clear message that he will quit if the stakeholders don't come on board. My colleague Pradeep Datta is on the broadcast with us with the details. And Pradeep, very clearly, tensions are simmering within Bangladesh. What are the details? We are told that there's a flashpoint between the army and the interim government now.
Yes, you're absolutely right. All is not well in Bangladesh so far as the interim government and the armed forces are concerned, because already we have seen that there was recently a meeting between the chief of army staff and Mohammad Yunus also. And because there is one section that really wants that now the election to be conducted, because the job of the interim government was to stay there for some time, make atmosphere conducive and conduct election. On the other hand, what actually Yunus did, that he kept on encouraging all those protesting students, and now today he is facing the heat himself, because those students keep on coming with demands after demand, and he feels that he is being held hostage and he has not been able to deliver and do much. That's one of the reasons that he has said that he will quit, because in such a situation it will not be very easy for him to work, because he's feeling pressure from all sides. On one hand, people are expecting that he's going to deliver and really going to bring in change ever since Sheikh Hasina had left the area because of the ongoing protests. But now what is happening is that radicalization he initially promoted, he allowed them to take over the street. He wanted that there was an anarchy kind of a situation. Now things seems to be getting out of control for him, and he seems to be of no control of the situation, because he feels that he is nothing but he is a dummy. So in the heart of hearts, he feels that it's not easy for him to operate. It's better to quit, because that is the only way he will be able to at least do some kind of a damage control. So let's see what really has happened. But one thing is quite clear, that things continue to remain politically unstable so far as Bangladesh neighborhood is concerned.
Yes, because one thing is clear, it's not like Mohammad Yunus was ever voted to power. That was a government that had been installed there. Rishabh is also on the broadcast with us. And Rishabh, what's happening in Bangladesh? Is it heading for another storm on the streets?
Well, Pratibha, what we're given to understand that Bangladesh, see, there are two things that's happening in Dhaka right now. One, that is the Mohammad Yunus government and the pressure on Mohammad Yunus government, not only domestic but also international, to hold elections. The other, the military. The military doesn't want to be seen as a repeat of 2008, where the interim government continued for almost 3 years, and the elections only could happen in 2009, and from 2006 to 2009 there was a military rule in Bangladesh. Military doesn't want to be seen as in a dictatorial position in Dhaka, and that's the reason that the frictions have increased. When it comes to Mohammad Yunus, pressure from BNP, pressure from now banned Awami League, or for that matter other Jatiya parties as well. There is a consistent pressure on Mohammad Yunus government to hold elections as soon as possible. Now the military chief has also said that by December there should be elections in Dhaka. So there is huge pressure on Mohammad Yunus, and that's the reason that we saw that protest last night in the Dhaka University. In a way, it was in a bid to ensure that all the members of the July revolution come together against army and military chief could resign. So that is something that's happening in Dhaka. Next 1 week will be very interesting.
Okay, all right. So the next 1 week is going to be very crucial. Just a moment, Rishabh. We have Mr. KP Fabian, former diplomat, on the broadcast with us, and ambassador. How do you assess the situation in Bangladesh?
Well, generally speaking, I emphasize the word generally. Generally speaking, early election in Bangladesh is good, because Yunus has been losing his authority, which to start with he didn't have enough of it. So it will be better for Bangladesh to have an early election. As to what happened in that election, as of now, it looks BNP will come back into power. And I would imagine that BNP also learns from the past and will follow a more responsible policy vis-a-vis India. So it will be good for India if early election takes place.
Okay. But, the details that have come in suggest that there are tensions between the army as well as the interim government, and it could lead to Mohammad Yunus's resignation as well. So in a situation like this, where a resignation comes in, where, of course, like you mentioned, elections should take place in Bangladesh because this was an interim government that had been placed. But it comes with the threat of Mohammad Yunus saying, I'm going to resign, with the army stepping in and hinting that there should be elections because it does not want a repeat of what has happened before. Does it mean that we're going to see a people's movement much stronger than before, which could lead again to unrest in Bangladesh?
Could, but what Yunus is doing is taunting the army. If you are asking me, if you're dictating to me to hold election at a point of time that you want, well, you take over. He's taunting them, And another thing is that if army takes over, it will not be for 1 week or 1 month. It will be for a longer spell. So that is where the predicament of Bangladesh is.
Okay. All right. Ambassador, thank you for joining us. We also have Rabindra Sachdev, International Affairs expert, on the broadcast with us. Good morning and thank you for joining us. How are you assessing the situation in Bangladesh? Some experts have been saying that elections should take place in the country. But is it a clear indication that the turmoil is going to continue for the next several months?
Thank you so much. Good morning and a pleasure. Yeah, I would estimate that the turmoil would continue, and there are many contradictions or internal contradictions in Bangladesh at present. I mean, on the one hand, the political parties, the Jamaat-e-Islami is the fringe, the hardline Islamic movement parties, they have support. Then you have the BNP, which has more support and which was the typical opposition to the Awami League. And in between, Yunus has parachuted of the student revolution which went on. Yunus came to be the interim advisor, right? And then you have the army. Now, of course, other than the army, also even the opposition parties or the previous opposition party, let's say the BNP, they have been demanding elections because they want to be in power, right? They think that they've thrown out, Sheikh Hasina. Now they should logically be in power. And one more aspect with respect to elections in Bangladesh, what Yunus government has started out, they have said that the country needs electoral reform. Right, they have said electoral reforms, financial reforms, media reforms. They have drawn up a huge laundry list of reforms which have to be done, and then the country would go in for elections. I think keep aside the other reforms, the question of, if not electoral reforms, but yes, the electoral process would again come up. Even if an election were to be, scheduled soon or soon enough, the issue with electoral rolls and
the fairness of elections as well, isn't it? What about Sheikh Hasina? Will she be allowed to contest? That is also going to be a question that Bangladesh will have to answer.
I would honestly think, my sense would be that Sheikh Hasina will not be able to go back. That's my sense. Okay, it could be, but generally looking at the way the things have turned out in Bangladesh. In fact, I think they just yesterday also banned the Awami League a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So the chances of Sheikh Hasina going back, to my mind, are very, very, very slim.
Okay. All right. Mr. Rabindra Sachdev, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. So, Pradeep, elections will be taking place. That's the source that has come in, that's the information that has come in, that elections will be taking place. But how fair will these elections be? And is it again going to be a government pushed by the military? That's the question that Bangladesh will have to answer, whether it is going to be free and fair elections or not.
Yes, Pratima, you're absolutely right. It seems that Bangladesh is also going the Pakistan way, because they had a democratically elected government and Sheikh Hasina was in power.
Yes, my sincere apologies, Pradeep. Just a moment. My apologies for interrupting you. We have Major General A.K. Siwach also on the broadcast with us. Major General, how do you see this unfolding in Bangladesh? The next week, of course, is going to be very, very crucial. Will elections actually take place? Could this be another stunt being pulled by Bangladesh?
See, as far as Bangladesh is going, very rightfully said that it is going in a Pakistan way. Bangladesh is following the footsteps of Pakistan. First of all, Awami League, which is a party which was ruling Bangladesh for last 15 years, this has been banned. They will not able to participate in election. And second, very important point is the ISI has now had a lot of foothold in Pakistan. And Pakistan influence has increased tremendously in Bangladesh. Will the election held fairly and objectively? That is a very important thing. how much Mohammad Yunus has capability of holding a election which are fair and free. And one thing is very clear: Mohammad Yunus, when he came, he announced that election will be held very soon. But he's been, for one or the other reason, postponing the election. And he's not a popular leader. The way he is going very close to China and Pakistan, it is a matter of concern. Jamaat-e-Islami, Bangladesh Mujahideen is ruling the roost. The law and order situation in Pakistan is extremely bad, and you find radical elements are moving very freely. The Hindus were targeted and their property was burned. And the biggest problem today is the ISI is now radicalizing Rohingyas. And there are about 10 to 12 lakh Rohingyas which are there in Bangladesh, which has come from Rakhine province of Myanmar. There is a threat of they being pushed during the election time. So overall, one has to watch out Bangladesh carefully. It looks, the election may take place, but the election will be fair or not fair. Will it be very objective? Will it be Awami League also participating, or it will be a sham the way elections are held in Pakistan? That needs to be seen.
Yeah, the biggest concern being whether this will be a sham election or not, with the threat that has been issued, or Mohammad Yunus saying that I will quit if the stakeholders don't come on board. But Major General, how do you see this as impacting India? If there is turmoil yet again in Bangladesh, what would it mean for India?
For India, a stable Bangladesh is far better than a Bangladesh where Bangladesh is in turmoil. The moment it is in turmoil, then you find it all these elements like Jamaat-e-Islami and Bangladesh Mujahideen and the ISI having a more say. Whether army can take over, not take over, the time will only tell. But the situation seemingly looks to be very, very critical in the sense nothing is in control, and slowly and steadily, Bangladesh, which was economically quite strong in the last 15 days, the textile industry was doing well, is now also going from bad to worse. Their economy is shattered. They will be now more dependent on IMF loan. And also, Chinese are now getting more influence there. So to me, it looks like that really Bangladesh is going in a Pakistan way. And very important question has brought out: will the election held? And if it is held, will it be fair? Will it be inclusive? If Awami League, which is one of the main parties, does not participate in election, then possibly election will be nothing but a chance.
Okay, all right. Is there going to be any semblance of normalcy in Bangladesh, or is the turmoil only going to increase in the country? That will be clear in the coming few days. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Thanking Pradeep and Rishabh as well for joining us with all those inputs. We'll have to leave it at that. On that note, we're slipping into a very short break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.